So now we get to the politics of it, because my own take is this is not great for Republicans going into these midterm elections. They were winning. The news cycle for them was very good, and for Joe Biden was very bad. And forget Roe, okay? Because Dobbs overturning Roe and Casey. People are going to get over the Supreme Court and move on, I think, pretty quickly to what's happening state by state. And that's what's really going to matter. I think it's 13 states already. Abortion is now illegal, thanks to those sort of trigger laws that were in place just in case Roe was ever overturned. And, now we're going to see a media rush to cover every woman who can't get an abortion in her state as though it's the only narrative out there. Well, no coverage of like the women who wound up having their babies and are really thankful that they didn't have abortions. Those will not be covered. And certainly that's there's not even going to be that many of those between now and the midterms. So politically, how does this play out?
Well, I think we have to separate out two elements here. The first one is, while it is true that the press is absolutely ruthlessly pro-choice, most people respond to the world around them, not what they see on the news, which is why, for example, attempts to cover up, say, high gas prices or inflation just haven't worked. If you go to a store or if you fill up your car, you know what the truth is. And I think that's true with abortion as well. Anyone who didn't want an abortion will be in the same position they were before. But those who do will find out what their state's position is. I bring that up because this moves down the question in many ways from the national level, in that all of that energy is going to be absorbed locally. If you're in California, nothing's going to change. If you're in Nebraska, it probably will. So then the question becomes, well, how many people will care? And that also gets absorbed locally. Not in every case, but most states, I think, will set their laws about where the public is. We've seen already in Virginia, for example, the governor said he wants to set the abortion restrictions at 15 weeks, which is about where Virginians are. It's actually about where Americans are as well. So then the question becomes, well, are people motivated enough to protest on behalf of other people, that is, people who live in different states? Are Californians angry enough about potential laws in Alabama or Mississippi to change the way they vote in November? I don't think there'll be a huge number of those people, but I do think there will be some, and I do think that it will motivate some voters to get out if they weren't going to before, or even to move from independent to Democrat, or maybe even in some cases Republican to Democrat. But I don't see that as a huge issue. So I think at the margins, this will help the Democrats a little bit. But I think the fact that it is going to be absorbed at the state level takes a lot of the sting out of that shift.
Mm-hmm. You've got people like Dave Portnoy out there saying, this is crazy. There's no way I would vote for Republicans in the wake of this. I guess we have the soundbite. Take a listen.
I just don't get it. To take away the ability to make informed decisions on how they want to live their lives is bananas. At what point do you look at the Constitution and say, hey, this was written by people who had slaves? Maybe the woke left, the liberals, they're crazy. They're insane people. Yet I end up having to vote for a moron like Biden because the right is going to put Supreme Court people in who are just ruining this country and taking basic rights away. I honestly believe 95% of the people in the country think like me. That's why we have to vote for the morons like Biden, who's borderline incompetent, because it's too dangerous to vote Republican. Like, what the fuck are we doing? Wake up.
Everybody thinks that the majority of the country thinks like they do. Everybody's like, I believe 95 at least think exactly the way I do. But what do you make of his point? Not that Dave Portnoy's, political prognostications are, must respond to events, but he may speak for a wide swath of, in particular, young men and women of childbearing age who have to worry about, unwanted pregnancies, who feel like they've lost something.
Well, I have to say, I watched that last week, was it? And it was one of the more moronic contributions to the debate in both historical, constitutional, and political terms. There will be people who feel like that, hopefully for slightly less self-interested reasons than Dave Portnoy's. But again, I think that is why it's important to remember that the Supreme Court did not say that abortion is legal in the United States. This idea that I keep hearing from Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and others, that this was somehow an arrogant act, that this was activism, that this undermined democracy, is completely backwards. It would have been an arrogant act if there were a constitutional amendment to protect a right to abortion. But given that there wasn't, it was the opposite of an arrogant act. It was the court saying 50 years ago, we usurped this power. We should not have that power. We are therefore sending it back to the people who enjoy that power at the state level. So we will see this play out 50 times. This isn't a national question anymore, at least not in the same way that it was. Are there enough people who think like Dave Portnoy in states to chafe at the restrictions that will be in some states, but not all put in place? Maybe. I would just filter that, though, through a couple of observations. First off, even when people have particular views about abortion, they don't tend to rank that high on their list of priorities. Maybe that will change. I'm really not convinced in this economy that it will. Second, the Roe regime, as pushed through Casey, was far more extreme than where most people who are pro-choice are. It led to an abortion norm of about 24 weeks, which you don't really see in many other places.
No.
You certainly don't see in Europe.
Are the high fuel costs putting a damper on your summer vacation plans? From higher prices at the pump to a jump in airfare, it is getting more expensive to get away for a week. But what if you could soak up those vacation vibes year-round without even having to leave your property? Get a Michael Phelps swim spa by Master Spas, and you can do it. Whether you want to stay close to home this summer or just want to extend your break, a Michael Phelps swim spa by Master Spas can transform your backyard into an oasis. It combines the benefits of a pool with the therapy of a hot tub. This is going to reinvent your family time. You will love it. Your family will love it. Your friends will love it too. Michael Phelps swim spas by Master Spas come in a variety of sizes to complement virtually any yard, even if it's a small backyard. And since it's heated, you can use it year-round in any climate. Michael Phelps swim spas are 100% made in the USA by Master Spas. That's the world's largest swim spa manufacturer. Their success is for a reason. Go to masterspas.com, put in the promo code MK to save $1,000 on one of those Michael Phelps swim spas or $500 on a Master Spas hot tub. That's masterspas.com, promo code MK. Hey, thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.